Also, everyone wonder how we come up with the age. AB 2200, how do
Oh, this is really
It's a good question.
this is really difficult. I imagine in my mind, I imagine a ruler, a stick, and in the center of the ruler, I imagine a zero. A zero being 0 calendar year, Gregorian calendar. And then close my eyes and I imagine what year am I dealing with, and I imagine a peak of light at 0, and then I see this light spread out, and wherever it spreads to, and then I see another peak, and it might peak at 250 or 232, and it kind of tells my mind that is about the right time. Or sometimes it's the clothing that someone's wearing, or the saddle on a horse, or the kind of weapon they're carrying tells me the approximate time period.
When you have a same target going back again next time, it's very easy to go back to the same target.
Yes, it is. Especially if I'm going back to something that I worked on before, it gives me a clear starting place. Where it becomes difficult if I go back to the same place and I'm trying to, like I became somewhat confused before because I was working along a line in history, and I went back and asked a question, and I started a new line, and then I went back and asked another question. So I was kind of working on 3 lines, and one line overlapped with another, and so they crossed, and somewhere I got overlapped with the first line that I'd been working on, and so I became confused between the target person and the person that follows her, because that was in my first line of questioning that I was working on. So sometimes I can get confused that way, but because I don't have a consistency, it can sometimes get confused. But usually it's easier. I try to, I keep many notes, so I try to stay consistent. But when you're working with history, it's sometimes very difficult because one thing doesn't necessarily relate directly to something else. Oh yeah. At first, it's very difficult because I get small pieces of a person, and I start to build with a personality, and then I get pieces of the character, and then I get pieces of how they look, and as each of these pieces form the person, then they become very real. And once it forms the individual in my mind, then I can see them moving, just as though I'm watching a picture in my mind. But once they become a total person, then they're forever the same person in my head. They never change. I see more of their being, how they act or react in different situations. So I become more and more familiar with them.
You just see like a movie, or you just see it from the top, or
No,
like a movie?
It's more like being insider and watching her from outside at the same time.
assimilate yourself to the person's mind.
Not actually inside the mind, but you can sometimes feel what they feel or sense what they sense. You get the emotion. Yeah.
そうじゃない。
You can get the emotion. You can get the sense of pain, or the sense of joy, or the sense of anguish, or sadness, or emotions. But you're not in their mind. No.